Welcome to the Ultimate Fantasy Locker Room, starring Antone Davis, Rocky DiStefano, Delano Williams, and Phil Anthony. Fantasy football, real results.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Ultimate Fantasy Locker Room. I am your host, Delano Williams, and I have to say, the boys are back in town.
You're really leaning into the host.
Hey, listen, I have to. You know, the Eagles wanted the smoke. And I just wanted to say that the Eagles wanted the smoke. But before we do that, speaking of smoke.
Let's talk about smoke, yeah.
Speaking of smoke, we have our show sponsored by Stogie Express. I got here a little, was the Romeo and Julieta?
Yeah.
Is all right?
Yeah.
Hey, tell me about this. Tell me about this, Phil. What I got here?
Yeah, so the Stogie Express is a company that basically lets you go on their site. You sign up for a little package that they'll send you based on your palate, and they'll send you, mild, bold, sweet, whatever you like. It's for the occasional smoker or an enthusiast, everybody in between. They offer a little bit of expertise, and they just kind of cater it to what you want. You can follow them at the Stogie Express on Instagram, and that's it. I mean, it's a good company, and they sent us these for free. So
hey, we're gonna take these. We're gonna enjoy these a little later, right?
Yeah,
we're gonna enjoy these a little later.
Somebody's wife won't let them smoke in the house, so we're gonna be enjoying that later.
You're not the only one, I don't think.
All right.
Speaking of the smoke, let's back to the Eagles. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow. So that's how it's gonna go, right? You win one game.
How's everyone's week going this far?
Yeah, I had a rough week. I went 1-4, 1-3 actually in my leagues.
1-3. And what about the league that matters?
So I was trying to teach you a lesson, and I know that the past couple of weeks you were struggling with starting players, and so I wanted to show you what happens when you don't start a player and you lose.
I did my homework, and I had a full lineup.
You
And
did?
Guess what?
Yeah, you won.
Cue the applause.
I was.
There you go. Thank you.
Sincerely, I was trying to teach you a lesson. I did not leave off my kicker because I forgot.
Okay.
I was trying to teach you a good fantasy lesson,
You guys hear that?
and that's why I lost.
On purpose.
Yeah, on purpose.
It's okay.
How about you guys?
I was all right. I went 3-1. I mean,
I was all right. I went 3-1.
and I won the 2 leagues in record for me. So
The two that matter,
It's pretty good. Yeah. I mean, not too many shouldn't have this week.
Yeah, Antone?
Pressed all the right buttons.
How about you?
My Eagles this week, 0-1.
Oh.
My fantasy, 1-0.
Oh, yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
and you've been a little bit on a streak. I think you're 2-1 in the last 3 games.
Exactly.
He is.
But
Coming
it
into
stops
mine.
this week.
I'm watching.
Stops this week because we're playing, and I think.
You see him.
I'm going to beat you.
I'm about to get schooled. I think I've already been schooled.
Hey, I don't know. If he wants to teach you a lesson, you might have this game in the bag.
All right. Well, why don't we move on? So.
I feel good about our backups. I feel good about our tight end. I feel good about our quarterback. I feel good about our 2 running backs.
And I want that guy to just lull me to sleep.
Come on now.
Yeah. So what we're going to do a little bit different this week. We're going to actually go game by game and talk about who we would start, who we wouldn't start, talk about some injuries, and kind of go from there. So the first game, and I'm doing it because my team won. I rubbed the elf, and I'm rubbing the elf a little bit more this week.
It only has to do with Christmas. That's why.
Because everybody loves the Browns, and the Browns won last week, and this week they play, a team that's a little down their luck, the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's talk about
Wow.
Who put him down?
who would you guys start in this game, and who would you not start?
Carson Wentz
Wow.
Would or would not?
would start.
Okay.
Terrible. That's terrible.
See,
It's not
he's talking trash about Cleveland right here, and he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
just with that.
You guys may have to run Wildcat all week.
All right. All right.
I'm just saying.
All right.
There's no way I would start Wentz. I wouldn't start Mayfield either in this game. Why would you start him? Based on the past few weeks, why would you start Carson Wentz?
Because it has to turn around at some point.
Well, not
That's
only
true.
that.
I mean, but it's not true. It doesn't have to turn around. I mean, it could turn around next year.
Well,
They're professionals.
That's true.
It'll turn around.
But they are going to Cleveland, and the weather there the past few weeks has been pretty close to tornado-ish. So
should be a better weather game for Cleveland in November.
yeah,
But Cleveland is very soft in their secondary. So I agree with him. I think it's a safe bet. I think Wentz is going to have a decent game. I do not feel that way about Mayfield, not only because your rush is pretty strong, but also because they're going to run the ball with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. I would just feed the ball to those two.
They've waited for a long time to have Nick Chubb back, and they've waited for their left tackle to come back. They're back. They're going to want to make a statement with those guys. They can win with them. They're going to want to set the tone with those guys.
Yeah. Well, and it's amazing. You talk about riches on one team. Nick Chubb is breaking off a 15-yard run every 10 rushes, a 15-yard or better every 10 rushes.
Pretty good.
So it's sad that it's like compared to him, Kareem Hunt has looked average, but Kareem Hunt is not average. So
No.
To me, both those running backs are an easy start. What do you guys feel about Miles Sanders?
I love Miles Sanders going forward, but in this game particularly, I don't feel great just because, like you said, they are pretty soft in the secondary, but they're pretty tough against the run.
Yes.
They actually ranked 8 against fantasy running backs. Yep. So, I'm not, if you have them on your team already, you're going to start them. But if you're looking on the daily fantasy wire and you're trying to build, maybe it's a guy you fade, stay away from. But to circle back to what you were saying about Wentz, I don't like Wentz this week, but I do like Fulgham. He ran into the unstoppable machine, which is the Giants defense last week. So let's just, if we take that out, we take that out. The 3 games before that, he had 27 catches, 377 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So I think he's a good play this week. Whether you have him on your roster or you're looking daily, he's the guy there. So you don't really have to worry about, the passes going anywhere else. So
yeah. Well, you got the rookies at Rager,
yep.
who's decent.
Yep.
But I think you're right about that.
He might be, and I do believe he's questionable right now.
Oh, really?
Rager.
Okay,
For
so
sure.
we'll have to keep an eye on that.
You'll be having to go for Jeffrey.
What about any receiver on the Browns that you think you should start? I know you started Austin Hooper last week, and he did okay for you.
I didn't start Austin Hooper last week.
Yeah, I thought you did okay. Maybe I'm wrong.
Let me see.
wow.
don't. Because if I'm right,
see.
I'm gonna be even angrier about my loss. So, by the way, why are you all so close over there? You can give it a little.
It's victory. It's victory week, man.
You didn't know?
Yeah, come
okay.
on. I just want Dallas Goedert. I know you're kind of giving up on him, but this week, like I said before in the past, Browns are pretty bad against TEs. So I wouldn't be against starting him. He had 4 catches, 33 yards last week, which is a decent floor in PPR. And maybe he gets a touchdown this week if you don't have a better option. And he's pretty cheap in daily.
Yep. All right. Anybody else you guys want to talk about? I would say for the Browns receivers, there would not be one I would start. We don't know about weather. We know they're going to want to run. And I just think it's best to avoid Jarvis Landry and Rashard Higgins. And maybe you could start Austin Hooper, maybe. But it's a risk. So
I'm in lockstep with you on that.
Yeah. Okay. By the way, for all the people, I don't know if you guys saw, but Nick Chubb ran a 50-yard run and then right before the touchdown stepped out of bounds at the 1-yard line so that the Browns would have the chance to run out the clock instead of taking any chance at all that they could lose. And it was one of the most unselfish things I've ever seen a player do. And it also cost me a game.
It's a jackhat thing. You didn't even need to do it. Just scored a touchdown.
Chubb, listen, get in the end zone next week because I needed you and you let me down, man.
And that ruined our pick.
Yes, it did.
Our
Yes,
picks.
it
They
did.
would have
It
covered.
did.
You know how many people he lost money for? That was ridiculous.
I don't think he cares. So.
Yeah, I know he doesn't.
All right, let's go to the next game, Pittsburgh versus Jacksonville.
It's a good one.
Yeah? What do you guys think about?
I'm gonna say right now, just want to say Pittsburgh, the last game. Roethlisberger's looking real good last.
Yeah.
My mistake is that I didn't start him over Russell Wilson, and that man gave me 6 points last week, maybe a little less than that, or a little more, give or take. I'm not too sure 100%, but I know for a fact Roethlisberger put up a good 29.
Yeah.
So,
he did.
and they're against Jacksonville.
So funny you mentioned that because I was just about to talk up Ben. 640 yards, 7 touchdowns in the last 2 games. Jacksonville is ranked 29th against QB. So
I'm going to put on my reading glasses so I can.
you're right on the money there with that.
drops of knowledge, but if you look at it, Big Ben, his previous best year ever was 2018. Then he got injured last year. But this year, he actually is heading toward his all-time record, both in yards and touchdowns.
Yep.
And he's coming on. They're getting better and better, and the reality is they move the ball better through the air than on the ground right now.
Yeah.
So I think Roethlisberger is a really strong start.
Juju's a big target right now.
I think that's the only tricky part with this offense is deciding, especially in daily. I mean, if you got one of the guys on your roster, you're going to start them. They're all producing. But if you're trying to pick between the three, it's hard. They all have a decent floor. I mean, Claypool seems like the guy that week to week to give you 3 catches, 40 yards, and a score. But Deontay and Juju are, they're getting a lot of targets. But it's just hard to pick between which one is going to be the top dog week to week.
Yeah, I think the best bet would be to get all 3 and start them as your wide receivers.
You might be right.
It's too hard to tell, and I've been burned by Juju before, but I've also had weeks where last week all 3 were top 10 wide receivers in fantasy points.
How do you feel about Connor?
What do you think about Connor? What do you guys think? I think he's marginal as a back.
Oh, just as a talent, you're saying?
Yeah. I just don't. I mean, they played a team last week that was soft. They blew them out. Cincinnati's one of the worst teams against the run, and they didn't run the ball.
He hasn't been good the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I know he was a little bit in the doghouse the week before against, I think it was Cincinnati. I'm not sure. Fact check me on that. But yeah, he's on a little bit of a downward trend. But Jacksonville is bad against the run too. And even with Pittsburgh, I'll just switch to the other side. Pittsburgh, their defense is great, probably one of the top 3 in the league. But they're not great against wide receivers in fantasy. They're 20th. So you might want to plug DJ Chark in there. You're thinking about Pittsburgh maybe being up a score or 2, and you get some targets on Chark, maybe get a touchdown.
What did you guys think about Jacksonville's quarterback, Luton?
Well, they stayed in the game. Well, it looked like they stayed in the game a good bit of that game, and it was a shock to me. I thought they were going to be, a run over, but able to hold their own, come back each and every down. I think into a quarter, I should say.
Threw for over 300 yards.
He looked surprising. He was pretty good.
He's had a lot of time to think about it. I mean, I'm being honest.
It's true.
He's had a lot of time to watch, and you can get a lot by osmosis.
Yeah, but let's be honest.
I think you're right about that.
Who's he watching?
Oh, he's watching
the mustache.
Gardner.
Who's he watching?
Florida man.
The mustache?
Okay. I thought it was you.
No.
All right. Anybody else you guys want to talk about in Jacksonville? James Robinson,
yeah.
Yeah, the kid's a man. Even in a loss, even when it's close, doesn't matter if they're up or down. He
showed up last week too.
He's a man. He's just a.
They stayed in that game longer than I thought they were going to, and I'm not sure they're going to do that this week. But they might, because Pittsburgh. If you follow Pittsburgh the last 3-4 years, their home road splits have been. You know what I mean? They're not as good on the road as they are at home. I know they are better this year, but
yeah. But you know what happens with any undefeated team? They get beat. It almost always happens, and it almost always happens in a game that you're not expecting. And I think that Jacksonville actually is a decent game, or is a decent team. So
you see it, right?
You guys are funny. All right, so we're ready to go to the
we're
next
texting
game?
each other while we're doing the show.
Was that Atlanta at New Orleans?
Yeah. What do you guys think about Atlanta at New Orleans?
Well, I was gonna say it was gonna be a good game, but
it's gonna be a great game now.
Okay.
Oh, so what you're saying is if he was here, it would have been a slaughter. But now that he's not, there's more of a chance. Is that where we're going?
Matty Ice has a way of rising to the occasion. But
okay, no, so you like Matt Ryan?
Well, yeah, he has him. He has him down. He has him down as one of his.
So do I.
But with Drew Brees being out, everything changes.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw the injury, but that was. It looked terrible, and yeah, probably too soon.
Soon.
But I think 5 broken ribs total.
I think ribs on both sides and a collapsed lung.
Yeah.
That's serious business right
Well,
there.
and the crazy thing
Heart
is,
goes out to him.
yeah, and they're still saying he's only questionable. Listen, if I break a rib, I'm down for like a month and a half. I can't do anything. And
you hate breaking ribs. You like eating them whole, right?
Oh man,
I do like ribs. I do like some ribs. I like me some ribs.
Well, if it was Big Ben, they'd play him. So maybe they're thinking.
So who's going to be the quarterback for New Orleans this week?
Jameis.
Yeah.
You think so?
Mr. Jameis. He's got to be able to step up to the plate. I think he will be. So what do you think?
I think it'll be terrible.
Just like our guy in Jacksonville. He's had a lot of time to think about it.
Yeah.
You think it's going to be Jameis?
I think it will be.
It's got to be. It's got to be.
No, Jameis is going to be the starter, but I mean, they mixed Hill in a good bit with Breeze there, so I think he's going to get even more.
Yeah. Well, and Hill is still listed as a tight end.
Yeah.
Right now, so
you can
if
play him
you're looking,
as a tight end, yeah.
and he may have some huge upside because he might run the Wildcat 5 or 6 times,
Might
throw
a
some
few
passes. Yeah,
he'll catch the ball. Yeah, he's he's like a Swiss Army knife, that guy.
Jameis learned a lot. He watched, and then he came in and threw an interception.
He looked terrible.
He looked almost immediately.
If you watched the end of that game, he looked like he didn't know where he was half the time.
And it's okay. I talked to some folks down in Tampa that actually coached him down in Tampa, and they say he's an incredibly intelligent player, hard worker, good player. I think being behind a person like Drew Brees for a while and listening and learning, I think it's going to help him a lot.
Well, and I will say, it's easy to make fun of him. Last year, he led the league in interceptions. He also led the league in yards.
Yeah.
So, he's talented. He's got a flaw. His flaw is interceptions, being a little bit reckless. But maybe he learned something about running an offense under Sean Payton and Drew Brees.
Right.
Yeah, he's like a really attractive girlfriend that's crazy and steals crab legs from Publix.
And
We
scores
still on
points.
that? We still on that?
See, the man deserves a reprieve
He
at
does,
some
but
point.
it still
not at all.
happened. It happened. Listen, I've gone to Publix and ordered a sandwich in the back and walked out. We've all done that. Maybe we haven't all. I have. But crab legs, when you're,
I've jumped
You're
on a
in
table
college.
once and yelled out absurd things.
Do you see this? Breaking news: Jameis Winston may be traded to the Giants.
Hey, he's better than Danny Dimes. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Okay, so what about Michael Thomas, Alvin? Are we starting these guys?
Starting Alvin Kamara.
I don't think you have a choice. I think you have to.
You got to start Thomas too, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Because they can't rely on just Drew Brees now. Now they have to use all their weapons.
All
And
the
I
weapons.
guarantee you they will use every weapon they have to try to score points.
Okay, and then on Atlanta, what do we feel? Because we're getting mixed messages about Calvin Ridley. He was
think
supposed to come back.
He's going to play.
He practiced, but he's nowhere near full 100%.
That's what I read.
And so you think he's going to play,
He's going to play.
all right? And you
I don't
think
think
him
they-
and Julio both will have a decent game.
Yeah, are they saying he's a game time decision yet, or are they just saying he's questionable?
He was limited at practice today.
Now you probably know better, right? But just watching injury reports through years, typically when a guy's that far away from playing, he's questionable all week. He's not practicing, and he's a game time decision. If he's practicing on a Thursday, it seems like unless something goes wrong, he'll probably play. Will he be 100%? I don't know, but that just makes me feel better about Jones because Ridley outperformed Jones the first half of the season, and if he's on the field, they're gonna have to respect him at least until they see he's not what he's supposed to be.
You can't say that as if Jones was actually playing the first half of the season. He was injured.
Yeah, but not the whole first half of the season.
Yeah, I'm just saying the way you said it is if like.
Well, he
Jones,
outperformed him. Even if he's been hurt for 2 weeks. He still outperformed
give
him.
the man. With that being said, Jones is still showing up though.
Yeah, with Ridley
Julio.
out.
I'm not going to down. He is the face.
Not for
of the
long.
team.
He's gone after this
Okay,
year.
that's fine. We're not talking about
just
that's
saying.
next year. That's next.
Well,
year.
there's a new sheriff in town. His name's Calvin Ridley.
Okay, heard.
Okay, would you guys think about starting Todd Gurley? How do we feel about Gurley?
I don't feel great about Gurley.
You know what though? He's scoring. There's something. So if you need, if you have him on your team and you need somebody with a high floor, he's scoring about 10, 11 points a week, no matter what. So,
But he's not giving you what you need though.
No, it's not. It's not what you want for sure. But again, he's 10, 11 points in some games. Last week, if I had one more 10, 11 point guy, I win.
Yeah, I seen that.
Cincinnati versus Washington. interesting game.
That was another good game. Washington stayed in it for some odd reason. Not too sure how, but
No, I mean, Alex Smith, back-to-back 300-yard games.
Looks like Alex Smith.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit better.
Yeah, and he looks like he's
back.
Yeah, young again.
Yeah.
He does get rid of the ball a lot. McKissick, his running back, who's really a third down back, is on pace with Alex to get 233 targets this year.
Wow.
So he's not going to get hit again. He doesn't want to get down, get hurt again. So McKissick, if you're in a deep league and you're desperate for a flex running back, wouldn't be the worst choice. He's caught 9 and 6 passes. And again, he had double-digit targets in both games. Gibson, what do you guys feel about Antone?
I love Gibson.
Yeah.
I was just going to mention him. Last 2 games, 193 yards, 4 touchdowns, 7 catches, 55 yards.
Those in the last 2 games.
Last 2 games.
Yeah. And the crazy thing was he wasn't like he was kind of a wide receiver running back coming out of college. They were unsure of what he was going to be, but they had faith in him as a running back. So he's looked good.
What about Burrow?
What do you guys think about Joe Burrows this year?
I like him. Joe's playing well. He's doing a lot for a young guy, and I think he's only going to get better. He's going to continue to make some mistakes, but, he plays really well, and the team follows him. So
Yeah.
that's it. I think that's all that matters, really.
Last week was the first game that he had not at least covered the spread. So he was a lot of gamblers liked Joe. But even in that game, what I liked about him is it was a tough game. Pittsburgh's got one of the best defenses in the league, but he didn't throw an interception. He didn't look foolish.
Right.
He looks to be the quarterback that since he's going to line up for the next 10 to 12 years.
Yep.
And their defense is bad, so they're going to have to score.
Yes.
Boyd, T. Higgins, those are both guys you can feel confident about playing. A.J. Green is he's still part of the offense, but he's not somebody you're thinking about.
No,
not
he's
at all.
still getting targets, which is sad. He got, I think it was 5 to 7 targets last week. Didn't catch any of them. I think since his offense would be better if they stop actually including him.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it because I'm a big A.J. Green fan. He's been a great receiver for years. I think his time is done, though.
Yeah, well, maybe he could go somewhere and get on a team that's a contender and, be a third piece like he is there. But
Or
they're
mentally.
they're a few years away.
Maybe the Meadowlands or someplace.
Yeah, maybe. So Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins in this game, like I said, last 4 games, Boyd 28 catches, 263 yards and 2 touchdowns. Higgins 24 catches, 389 and 2 TDs. Washington's pretty good against the pass, but like you said last week, it's a little overstated because of who they've been playing in the division.
Misleading.
They've only played one good offense, really, this year, was Arizona. And besides that, it's been kind of like underachieving offenses.
Sorry, but they played the Browns. Who were a juggernaut.
Juggernaut.
We had OBJ. We scored 37 points on them. Come on.
Wait.
On them. Yeah, exactly. That's my point.
How about Detroit versus Carolina? How do we feel about them?
Teddy was banged up,
Yes.
but he will probably play.
Yeah, but he looked hurt. Like he didn't look like it was
No.
a small injury.
Sounds like he's going to play, though.
It is.
Yeah.
I know. It's great. Talk to me about. I remember once you told me what it was like on a Monday morning after you played football on Sunday, how your body felt.
Well, the training room will be like triage on Monday, and it's everybody. It's not just 1 or 2 guys in the training room because you come in if you need treatment, but a lot of times that's the busiest day of the week. Everybody's coming in to get things looked at. Everybody's getting things checked out. But you feel like you've been in a car wreck. These guys are playing. Sometimes it could take you 15 to 20 minutes to get up out of the bed and stand up.
Yeah.
And then you got to figure out a way to put it together for that day. And then you go over to the complex. You'll run a little bit, stretch out a little bit, get in the hot tub a little bit, and get a little treatment, and get ready for the next week.
Yeah, but you can't minimize the fact that it's like being in a car wreck several times, each game. And right. Teddy was in a car wreck, so it's amazing to me that he might actually get up and find a way to play.
Oh.
But he's got to be limited some. he's not a running quarterback per se, but he does move around the pocket pretty well.
He got hit on Sunday, and I thought he was.
Yeah.
I thought he broke his wrist. That's what it looked like. He went down, and I was like, "Oof."
Not look good.
It's a good thing Detroit's not that great on defense. So
That's fair.
I think it's a good matchup for him if he's able to get up for the game.
What do you think about Christian McCaffrey, your guy?
Yeah, your guy.
He's ruled out. So
Yeah.
I mean, Mike Davis, whatever. I've kind of lost faith in Mike Davis, but like I said, the Lions' defense is pretty bad. They're ranked dead last against running backs in fantasy, so it's a good matchup. Hoping that that'll work out for Mike Davis, but based on the past few times he's had the role, and it hasn't been too great. Another note in this game is Stafford. I don't know how you guys feel about him. He did have a
great game last week.
A sprain in his thumb.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. But he's going to play over 20 points last three of his last 4 games. And like I said, that defense is not too great against the pass. Marvin Jones, he talked about you lost faith in him. He had a good week last week.
He had a good week. I was wrong about him, but Galladay has been practicing today, and he'll be back in some limited basis. But I think it's a sign that it's okay to start Stafford. I feel really good about him. Yeah. And I think DeAndre Swift has really started carving out his role.
DeAndre Swift actually missed practice today with a concussion.
Oh, no.
So he's probably out of it. And I was big on him this week too, but yeah. So whoever they start, though, that defense, the Panthers defense is ranked 30th. So, I mean, for the running backs in this game, it's probably a good week to target.
Yep. What do you think about, knowing what you know about the offensive line with an injured quarterback? Don't you think that there's a great chance that Teddy Bridgewater might actually focus on Mike Davis more with some short receptions just to kind of keep himself from getting hit?
Yeah, I think the game plan will shift a little bit. They will make sure that he doesn't get hit as best they can. They'll try to make sure that they get the ball out of his hands quick. They'll rely on the running game. They'll rely on the running game to buy him time in the passing game. So, they'll figure out a way for him to play. If he goes on the field, he's 100%. I'll just put it that way. So that's kind of the rule. You're questionable, you're probable, but if you step on the field, you're 100%. But they will do what they can to protect him, and the line will definitely step it up as well.
Okay, side question. Who was the toughest D-line, D-end that you ever went against?
Reggie White.
Yeah.
No question.
Yeah.
Best there ever was.
Yeah. I agree with that.
I hear that.
All right. Let's take it to the next team. Next game, we've got Tennessee versus Baltimore. Really interesting game to me. Baltimore has been up and down. They've looked good and really bad. I don't know what to make of this. What do you guys feel?
I want to hear what you thought about this, just because, the Ravens coming off a year where they were like favorite to go to the Super Bowl. And it feels like the last few weeks they've been exposed a little bit. Oh, yeah. In the passing game, especially. So, my brain says they're going to try to get back to what they do best, is running the ball. But, and especially against a team, the Titans, which are pretty bad on defense. But it also makes me think that, the Titans are probably just going to load up the box, put an extra guy in there, and try to shut down the run. So what do you think, the Baltimore doubles down on running the ball, or do they try to maybe work something with the pass game this week and maybe surprise them a little bit?
If it were me, I'm relying on my superstars, right? Lamar Jackson, I'm gonna put the ball in his hand.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You don't think so?
Nah.
Not right now. Lamar.
Well, I do. He's got a downward trend right now, and it's not really looking too good for him. So Tennessee's not going to roll over.
No, Tennessee's a tougher team. To me, they're a strong team
for sure.
Right, and they're a tough team, but you still have to account for this guy. Nobody's going to make a game plan and not worry about this guy and say he's on a downward trend. They're going to say that guy can explode on you at any moment.
Yeah, and when he does, it's pretty amazing. I mean, he's an 80-yard touchdown waiting to happen every play. So
I think I agree with you that what they should do is kind of put the ball in his hands and let him make plays. It's just this season I haven't seen it against the better teams. Now, Titans are a good team. They're not a great defense or even a good defense by any stretch. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting. That's why I wanted to see what you thought, because it was like, you got to kind of test them with the pass, because I don't think they're going to be able to just run the ball on them.
So, but here's the thing. So, and Lamar Jackson adds an element that they purchased when they got him, right? So here's the thing. So if you watched the game last week, Lamar Jackson had opportunities to run and he did not run. That tells me he's been coached. Hey, man, You do not have to do it all, right? Let your players play for you. Don't try to be a hero. Throw the ball, right? But now we got to win games. So he's going to do what he has to do to win games, and I would expect to see a heavy dose of Lamar Jackson.
I actually agree with that 100%. I think that he's going to go back to what he feels comfortable with.
Right.
Last season he was able, what he did really well was he mixed up enough running in order to free up his receivers deep and get some really great deep passes. And he's not an accurate quarterback, but he didn't have to be when Hollywood Brown was 5 yards ahead. I think he's going to go back to what he knows, which is running.
Going back to his comfort zone.
Yeah.
And so to flip that on the other side, I do like, even though going against this team, if you're going to play a guy on the offense in this game for the Titans, I do like Tannehill just because that Russian defense is pretty good. And like Henry, will address something that happened this week with your call to maybe trade Henry. And a lot of people didn't understand what you were saying.
A lot of people called me names.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen,
and by
you
the
deserved
way,
it.
By the way, I smell beautiful. He's right next to me. There's no smelly here,
But this game, is kind of what you were talking about. They're going to run Henry. They're going to give him his touches. But that whole receptions thing, getting him involved in the pass game, it's not happening, especially over the last 3-4 games, not happening. The problem is that with Henry, like I said before, he has, 1 or 2 games, like you were saying, where he really blew up. Outside of that, his game-to-game production, he gets you 100 yards. But, maybe that gets you 9, 10 points. If he doesn't score a touchdown for you, he's not worth what you drafted him as or what you traded to get him. He's not worth it. And against this defense, Baltimore is ranked 7th in TDs allowed. All right? So they're not giving up touchdowns to just anybody.
That's right.
I don't think it's going to happen with Henry this week. So, it's hard to say that. So in daily, don't target Henry, especially what you're going to pay for him. If he's on your team, I guess you're going to start Henry, but just don't expect – you might have to compensate somewhere else.
And that was where I was coming from. The reason why I said trade him is that too many weeks he let me down with a 10 or 11-point production when I needed 18 to 20 from my running backs.
Exactly.
He had 1 week at 44, 1 week at 28, but if you take out those two, he was pretty average. And those two were almost 40% of his point total for the season.
You could get 10 and 11 points from a bunch of guys that you could find. I mean,
with maybe a little bit more upside than what Henry showed so far this year. So, anyways,
I think he's fallen off.
we're going to go on.
I'll just mention before we move on, Mark Andrews had a decent week last week without any touchdowns. He had some production, and the Titans ranked 21 against tight end, so it's not a bad place to start him if you were looking to.
Anybody else you guys like? Do you like any receivers for Tennessee or for Baltimore? Yeah.
They both been letting me down.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll move on to the next game. This is an interesting game, New England versus Houston. New England is doing a tremendous job with not allowing Cam to throw, minimize as much as possible his throwing. Damian Harris has really looked great the last I think he's got 100 yards or close to that 4 out of the last 6 weeks, averaging 5.5 yards a carry, and they won't put him in by the goal line, and he doesn't score. It's all Cam Newton running it in, Rex Burkhardt, sexy Rexy, catching.
The Texans are last in the league against the run, so you could throw Burkhardt in there too because he's vulturing some TDs around the goal line.
Yeah,
I mean he's not a bad start. I mean, this game, there's not a lot in this game. I like Watson. I don't know how you guys feel. I like Cam, too. I like both of the quarterbacks in this game. And Myers is probably the one guy on the Patriots offense that I like besides Harris. He kind of came out of nowhere in the last few weeks, but he's been great.
Antone, when you played, did you have anybody in your team that dressed really oddly like Cam Newton's been known to dress?
I'm not sure I remember anyone dressing.
Those were the
like
days,
Cam.
man. Those were the days. Men were men, and you weren't
I've
wearing
seen
scarves.
some stuff now. I have seen Alvin Kamara
Yes.
sport a pink suit like nobody's business with skinny pants.
Did you ever wear a pink suit with skinny pants?
No.
Well, these guys would fit in well with the NBA. If you watch the NBA, it's nothing.
It's even worse.
Yeah, it's nothing compared to the NBA.
They're like costumes at this point. They're not suits. They're
yeah, some of them are costumes.
Yeah. All right, let's go on. Anybody else from New England or Houston that we like? Deshaun is consistent. 2 touchdowns almost every game. Several hundred yards.
Duke Johnson, I mean, he's going to get the work. He didn't show up last week.
He got the work last week and looked terrible.
Yeah, so, I mean, but it's not, I mean, if you
know
need to.
David Johnson is out again.
Yeah. So if you need to start him, I'd probably take another stab at him, but that's about it.
All right. Let's move on to my favorite team, Miami versus Denver. Miami has really begun to make me a believer.
You said Miami.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. You don't.
I'm gonna have to do the Shannon Sharp on that one.
You don't agree? Okay. All right.
Skip.
But you are high on somebody I know, on Miami. You do like their quarterback quite a lot.
You know what? I respect Tua. I mean, for what he's been through and what he's done, you cannot help but respect him. I still think it's early, though. I still think the jury's out. I want to see how he does after 4 games in,
right?
Starting 5 games in when teams have had a chance to really study him and evaluate him. I'd like to see how he does.
Yeah, he did.
So you don't believe in him right now?
The jury's out.
Well, I respect what he's done so far. You can't deny it. It's on film. But
we are talking Miami.
Yes, we
are.
are.
What's
talking
Miami's
Miami.
what, 6-3? They're
Yeah.
going to the playoffs.
I'm just saying that's what I'm agreeing with you guys.
5 straight wins.
This is Miami.
They're a good team.
You take the Patriots out the picture, you can breathe some.
I'll tell you, I mean, Salvin Ahmed, he's 21 for 85 and a touchdown last week. And it looks like he's going to be getting most of the work again. And even when Breida comes back. I mean,
that's the issue now. Breida is back. He's going to play this game. But
I still think he's going to get work, though.
Well, Salvin Ahmed, I'm trying to make sure I pronounce the name correctly. He has done great. I mean, they got him kind of from nowhere. Mm-hmm. He's averaged over 5 yards a carry. He has been really impressive as a running back, and he appears to be better than Breida for sure. So it's going to be interesting to see. I would agree with you. I think he'll get to work, but Breida getting back is kind of a mudding situation.
Yeah, like 21 carries for 85 yards. Yeah. I mean, it's looking pretty good. 1 touchdown.
See, I think you're a closet Miami fan. That's what I think you are.
Something came out just a minute ago.
Something came out there.
No.
I like
Seahawks.
I like Grant this week too, especially in daily as opposed to Parker. He's pretty cheap. 8 catches for about 80 yards and a touchdown in the last 2 weeks. So not a bad guy to have in a value slot on your team. That's all I got. I don't like anybody for the Broncos this week.
Drew Lock, is he playing? I know he was banged up a little bit.
I think Ripen's playing.
Yeah, which I do like. Ripien.
Yeah.
Rippin. Is that
yeah,
Mark Rippin's son?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it might be his son.
I kind of like that.
They're related. Yeah.
All right, Phil, let's talk about the New York Jets. So
that's him over here.
Talk about this game. Or don't talk about this game.
We could actually, because
talk about
I think that's fair. We don't even have the
I'll
Jets.
just say Jamison Crowder.
And the Chargers?
It's probably the only guy on the Jets team that you want to start is Jamison Crowder.
So Jamison has been very consistent this year. I will say that. He's been the MVP for sure of the Jets. There's no doubt about that. I'm not saying much. The other guy I'm interested in is their running back. They are starting to work him in more, give him more touches. He is a receiving back out of the backfield. I think they finally put Frank Gore on the shelf.
Thank God.
Yeah.
He's been running around for a while, miscellaneously.
Like
and they finally put him up.
Guy that plays ball at the YMCA that's just got a
45, 80
sweet stroke. Yeah.
All right. Anybody else we want to talk about on the Chargers? You guys know I have a love affair of Air Bear.
Air Bear looks great.
Me too.
We mispronounce
Kalen
him.
Balaj.
I like him a lot, man.
Yeah,
Kalen Balaj.
Kalen Balaj. Hey, I was right.
Looks like a different guy.
He did play for the Jets and for the Dolphins. We talked about that last week. But, yeah, off the trash heap, and he has looked really, really strong.
40 touches last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yep. Not a bad guy to grab.
Keenan Allen, if you got him, start him. Only 5 receptions last week, but another touchdown. He scored, I think, 5 out of the last 6 weeks. This is an every week starter for sure.
And Hunter Henry, too. In daily, he's only $4,600. Yeah. He's been steady last 3 weeks.
Caught a touchdown last week.
And the Jets are 26 against the tight end, so maybe in a good spot there.
All right. Let's move on to Green Bay, Indianapolis. Indianapolis has a top 5 defense, somewhat misleading because they haven't played a lot of tough teams.
Yep.
But I do believe that they're pretty good against the run, so I would watch maybe Aaron.
I have a stat for you. It's both of these defenses together.
You got excited there.
Yeah, because I thought this was pretty crazy in this game. Both of them are top 5 against all the position groups besides 2, which is Green Bay. They're 8th against wide receivers and 29th against running backs. So
you should
we play
start.
Taylor, we play Hines.
Yeah.
That's the question.
You play Hines.
It's against running backs, though. So, who's the guy that you want on the ground? And I'm in the same boat as you with Taylor.
I want Taylor because I have him on my team, but he just, other than a few weeks where he averaged 50 to 60 yards, he's disappeared the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah. And I'm not crazy about anybody else in this game. Adams, you're going to play your stars, but...
What do you guys think about Phillip Rivers? You guys think he's worth anything?
I think it's...
Nah,
No.
I don't know, man.
No.
Aaron Rodgers? Must
Yeah.
start.
That last
You have to
game...
start him.
The game they put, that last game, that was rough. They were in and out. I couldn't tell. They seemed like they wanted to. It didn't seem like they were putting anything together. So it kind of gets me like,
I just feel like they're on the road against a really good D. So
you don't think so?
No, I'm saying they are. They're on the road against a good defense. So it's tough. If you have these guys, we're talking about 2 different things. If they're on your team, you're going to start Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Unless you got another, if you got Deshaun Watson, maybe you start him. But yeah, you're going to start him. But like if you have a choice, if it's a daily fantasy situation, maybe I wouldn't look at Rodgers or Rivers in this game.
Neither.
Just because Rivers actually has a better matchup here. So it's tough.
With them, I wouldn't start either quarterback, to be honest.
All right. How about let's go on to America's team, Dallas Cowboys,
Whoa.
and the Minnesota Vikings. What do we think about these guys? Dalvin, it's a must start.
Do we have to talk about him?
Yeah.
What about Zeke? Who are we starting here? Zeke?
I like Zeke.
Yeah, I like him too. He hasn't had great games lately, and he doesn't seem interested.
Does the team seem interested? I don't. They put up a fight against Pittsburgh, right?
They did, surprisingly, yeah.
But I just, even in that game, he wasn't great in that game. They get Dalton back, right? So that might change things a little bit.
Yeah, I think Dalton is an interesting play if you're desperate for a quarterback. I think that Minnesota is weak in their secondary, and they have 3 of the best receivers in the league. And so I think between Cooper and Gallup and the rookie, Lamb, I think it's an interesting
I'm back on the
good old
Thielen
CD.
train, too. I'm back on the Thielen train. He got in the end zone last week.
I don't think you could even get off of Thielen. I understand why we wanted to, but man,
there was a good defense they went against last week, and he did pretty well.
Yeah.
If Andy Dalton's back, you got to believe in Zeke because it's going to be just like Teddy Bridgewater. They're going to rely heavily on the run game to get things going, to open it up and protect the quarterback.
I am shocked that, if you would, in August, people were picking the Cowboys to win the entire division. Now, I know Dak got hurt, but prior to Dak, they weren't looking great.
No.
It looks like their offensive line has really struggled. I don't know if it's an injury or if it's just, but they went from being, road, crushers, just pushing.
they had the best offensive line for a while.
That we're talking about 4 years ago, though. So they've lost pieces on that line.
Yeah.
So
you can lose one piece and it'll change everything.
Okay. Yeah. All right. KC versus Las Vegas.
Tough
what you
matchup.
think about this
Tough.
game.
We got a 6-3 for the Vegas.
Yeah, they're both 7-2 versus 6-3, I believe.
I do believe so. That's rival there.
The Raiders beat him at home. Yeah.
Raiders look great
Ruh-roh.
beating them at home.
Well, and the Raiders are playing better now than they were when they beat them too. So,
what do you think about?
I'm a Gruden fan. I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm a John Gruden fan. You can put him on your fantasy team, but I have to believe in the Raiders. So
yeah, I like the Raiders. Josh Jacobs hasn't looked great. Even last week, only a 3.3 yard average, but they kept feeding the ball to him, gave him 20 attempts and several passes. So I think they're going to kind of do the same thing. I think they're going to run it.
keep it out of Mahomes' hands.
Yeah, keep it out of Mahomes' hands.
And that means you might get a healthy dose of Devin Booker, too.
Right. Now, Mahomes has looked really good. He had a couple games where he was kind of coming back to the pack, but the last 4 or 5 games, he's kind of looked like the Mahomes that was setting the world on fire last year.
I think that's what he's going to do. I think he's going to, rely heavily on those other pieces. But I think right when you think that Mahomes is going to turn it up and then burn you for it.
Let me just clarify. I said I'm a John Gruden fan.
Right.
I didn't say they were going to win.
Yeah, I wanted to.
So you
We
think
got to
KC's
clarify
gonna
that.
win?
Yeah. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is my first pick I made.
How do you feel about the tight ends? Well, I think you start both of them. I'm not as high on Waller this year, but I still think he's in a good spot this game.
You said Kelsey?
Kelsey and Waller.
Yeah. Well, Kelsey, he's a wide receiver. No longer do I even consider him to be a tight end.
True.
It's Kelsey and everybody else at that position. I think Kittle might be there too when he's healthy.
Kittle's there, yeah.
But otherwise, it's Kelsey and everybody else.
The only two guys in the league that are the best at the tight end position that are the best receiver on the team.
Yeah. Yep.
Gronkowski. No, I'm just.
Oh, he's not
I
even
know.
close.
I know. Relax. Relax.
Gronk. I like Gronk.
Gronkowski.
Yeah,
Right.
he's looking like Gronk again. We're going to talk about them right now.
Speaking about Gronk, L.A. Rams versus Tampa.
Well. What is it? Almost 50 points they put up.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a game.
Tom
It was
Brady
looking
looked good.
They're
They looked
gelling.
good.
They're gelling.
Are they gelling? You think so now?
They're gelling against bad teams.
And that's to say, Gronk had two really good plays that game. Antonio Brown, he's getting
He
the
carried
targets.
about 5 guys.
He's just,
he almost scored.
dude, he's a machine. He's a machine. But L.A.
Hey, can I bring up something? I'm wondering if Tom Brady, he's not doing well in night games. Is there a reason?
I mean, yeah.
Is there a reason for that?
He's getting old.
In his 40s.
It's
man.
almost bedtime, man. I mean, what do you want? I mean,
I don't think he can see at night anymore. So Tom, I don't think he should be driving late. I don't think he should be quarterbacking late. So it's a Monday night game. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So I expect him to get sacked a little bit by Donald.
I'm glad you're bringing this up right now.
Yeah.
Because if it goes to show, people going to start.
Oh, no.
They're going to stop
Listen.
starting them at night games.
It's a good point.
Yeah. Maybe if they give him a nap midday,
It might work.
might
Ram
work,
crackers.
but-
it's
Yeah.
way
Is
past
it?
the
Is it really? I mean, has it really been like that
Oh, no.
lately? Like
Yeah.
it's going to show that he is.
was terrible against the Saints. Both of those were night games.
Yeah, but they barely. Like that was a.
I'm
But
telling
barely
you.
is no
As
cigar.
a man who's getting older and whose eyes are getting worse, I think it's a.
Tom may be getting up at 4 a.m., right? Before most of us even think about rolling over.
Yeah, but he's doing his hair and makeup.
If I was
So,
next
but-
to Giselle, I'd be getting up at 4 a.m. too. Let me tell you, she's
So-
a good-looking woman.
Okay. But by the time the game starts at 8 o'clock, 8:30, in Tom's body clock, it's like 11.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like-
he's ready for Law and Order SVU.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
all right. All joking aside, he has looked really good against a lot of teams. But if you look at his record, he has not looked good this year at night. So I think this is going to be closer than people think.
The Rams have a good defense.
Good
so.
defense.
Yeah, I think
See
they.
what
Yeah,
they
you
did to
got.
Seattle.
Yep.
Last
They
week.
shut down their
Yeah.
receivers.
Was
And
it Donald?
Yeah. Aaron Donald.
Donald. Good old Donald.
so what else? What do you guys think about the Rams? Any receivers you would start? Are you starting Goff? Is there a running back you like?
I like Cup this week. I'm not crazy about Woods. I like Cup, and Henderson is interesting as a daily player just because just not a lot of guys are going to be on him because of that rush defense where it's ranked.
Right.
But they haven't looked the same the past few weeks. I mean, they looked good last week, but back to the week with the Giants and the week against New Orleans, they don't look like the same team they were the 4 weeks before that when they were a dominant defense. So, he's interesting there. And Goff, I mean, yeah, not crazy about Goff. The defense is good. It's tough because, like you said, they've been a little bit up and down lately, and both of these teams, the defenses are pretty tough. So
It's going to be an interesting
I just
game.
expect it to be one of those games where it's going to be tight late and probably less points than you think it's going to be.
All right. We're going to mention before we move to our next section the buys. This is for Delano.
Yeah,
Delano,
we got the Giants at Buffalo. We got the 49ers at Chicago. So I do believe the Giants are probably going to win that game.
Now these are. See, this is what you're doing.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, that does say buys.
Yes, this is, and the reason
Come on,
why I'm
guys.
saying Delano.
I know. Playing along.
I hope that's true. I hope that's true.
I mean, it's right there.
All right, so don't start any Giants, Buffaloes,
49ers or Chicago.
All right, so I think we're ready to get into our pick section. Before we get into this pick section, we're just going to strike from the record that loss because that does not count.
No. Don't do that. Don't do
It
that.
has to, or I won't make them anymore.
I think we need to let our lovely assistant to do the drop.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
There's no chance you're keeping that loss on my record.
Yeah, but there's a chance because I'm looking pretty good.
Well, that's good. Yeah, that's fine. You'll fall off. The cream always rises. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Half the time.
What?
So,
4-0 says otherwise, boss.
if we're ready, does everybody have their picks? Everybody looked at what they want to do here? Or are we flying by our seat of our pants?
Well, why don't you remind us?
I fly
What
by
games
the
are we
seat,
picking? But
the seam.
yeah, talk about the games that we're picking this week.
So the 4 games we're picking this week are Arizona at Seattle. Arizona's getting 3.
3.
We got Eagles at the Browns. The Eagles are getting 3.5. We got Steelers at Jaguars, and the Steelers are giving 10. And the Packers at Colts, and the Packers are getting 1.5.
This is an easy week.
Yeah.
This is an easy. These are 4 really like no-brainer picks.
I know what he's going to say.
Hey, let's mark that down.
Yeah, we
just
gotta
to see
put him
what
on the
happens,
board.
but
Hang on, let me.
Put Tone on the board.
I'll be 4-0 for this. This is simple.
You're going to be 4-0.
Yeah.
From these picks?
Yeah. With the, you're picking them with the spread. You know that, right?
Yeah, this
Okay.
man
No,
said
just wanna
I
make-
am
hey,
Vegas. I am Vegas.
Hey, we'll see. For sure.
Yeah, Delano was 4-0 this week. So
Yeah, and he's mad about it. Phil's kind of salty about it. He wants to renege on a pick.
Well, that was never supposed to be on the record.
Yeah,
so.
BBC says
That's
Okay.
a big. Well, it's a call I'm making that's separate from the pick segment. So
okay,
how
so
would it
we
be
have
counted?
Seattle at Arizona, and Seattle is
3.
giving 3. Is that correct?
Yep.
Seattle. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so Antone, who do you have winning?
Seattle. Easy.
Thank you, boss.
Okay, Seattle. I think I got your pick because
Come on now.
Phil, how do you feel about this game?
Well, no, Seattle's getting 3.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, so Seattle's
So
getting
if
3.
you guys want to reconsider?
I still take Seattle.
Still taking Seattle, but Seattle's getting 3 or Arizona's getting 3?
Seattle's getting 3 points.
Yes.
I would. You know what? I'm going to take Arizona. Take Arizona here.
+3.
What did you take? What's your BBC?
But that's later. All right. You wait for that.
All right, heard.
I think I will take Seattle here.
All right, so
I will take Seattle for sure.
I'll be separating myself from you guys. All right. Next game, Phil, kind of set us up for that, and I'll keep the score.
So the next game is we have the Philadelphia Beagles at the Browns.
He said that.
The Eagles are +3.5.
Okay, Eagles are getting 3.5 versus Cleveland.
He said Beagles.
No, he said it right. He said it right.
No, I meant to say, did I say Beagles?
Yeah.
Yeah, you said Beagles, but that was, I thought it was
It's
Intentional.
autocorrect.
All right.
Eagles.
Eagles.
Eagles. Eagles.
You know what? This is an
Cluck, cluck,
insult. Let me
cluck,
tell you why
cluck.
this is an insult.
What?
It's at Cleveland. Cleveland's 6-3.
Yeah.
Philadelphia's 3-6, and they're only having to give 3 points.
That's pretty bad.
It's an insult. My Browns are taking this.
I'm gonna. Is that where we're at right now?
Browns.
I am so sorry, Tone, but I'm going with the Brown. Can I rub the elf real quick? Let me.
But I got 3 points. I got 3.5 points.
That's true. Yeah.
I got 3.5 points
I don't
to play
care.
with.
It's the Eagles.
We're going
the
in there.
Beagles.
We're going in there and taking them down.
You want to
Yeah,
rub
let
the
me
L?
tell you, I
thank
think
you. You already
I
touched
will
a hat.
take the Eagles as well, +3.5. I don't think they win, but I don't think the Browns are going to blow them out and win by more than a field goal. I mean,
You wait and see.
The Browns, they're
Let's-
for real this year.
Let's go. Yeah.
Guys questioning Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Okay.
What is this?
All right. Next game we've got is
Steelers at Jaguars. Steelers are -10.
The Jags got to win by 10.
No.
So I'm going with the Steelers.
Steelers have to win
Just
by 10.
stop, okay? I get it.
Are you? I just can never tell when you're joking or not.
Just stop, Phil. I got the Steelers. We're going to give 10 to the Jaguars.
all right. Antone, what do you think?
Steelers. And they will score defensive points this week.
Yeah, I like the Steelers as well.
Yeah, you see? You see what I'm saying? You see?
Well, I'm saying the Steelers are given 10 points.
Here's the issue, though.
Let's hear it.
Dallas played them tough. I think the Jaguars are actually better than Dallas. I'm going to be honest with you. I think they got a better running back right now.
They are better.
I think they have a better defense than Dallas, and it's 10 points. But I'm going to go Steelers because of gluten. I got a gluten allergy. Just don't like that. All right.
All right. And our next one is Packers at Colts. The Packers are getting 1.5 points.
Yeah. This
so
is
that
stupid.
means that the Packers are going to get 1.5.
Yeah.
Which means that I'm going with the Colts here.
Okay. All right.
But since they got 1.5,
sounds painful.
we're going to carry the 1, and I'm going for the Colts.
Okay, Colts.
Okay. You got the Colts.
They keep surprising me every game.
What did you think, Gabby?
So the Packers are getting 1.5 points. I'm going Packers. You guys are crazy.
Yeah, I'm going Packers as well.
What did I say again?
Said Colts.
Said Colts, and it's down. Yep. All right. Okay, so we're going to see how. Right now, I'm in first. I want to mention that again.
How are you?
Hasn't been able to play.
Wait, how are you in first?
Okay,
I'm done.
6-3 is higher than
stop.
5-4.
Just leave it alone.
And I mean, add the numbers left to right. Go. Anyways, Antone's joining us, so we're gonna, maybe we'll let him pick all the games and see if he can catch up.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see
we can do a handicap.
He didn't get Wi-Fi at the Culvers, and that's why he couldn't.
They didn't install it. It's a grand opening.
Let me tell you about these burgers, dude.
Let me hear about it,
dude.
They are good burgers.
What about those shakes and those concretes?
They have one of those round grills that you used to have at cookouts in your yard in the kitchen. That's what they got with charcoal in it.
What, the charcoal?
Yeah.
Culvers, we do accept partnerships.
Hey, I will take all the concrete Snickers y'all got.
Yeah, say it with money. Culvers.
And see what you think about my BBC this week. Are
we going to count this towards or no?
No, this doesn't count towards.
I just want to make sure. I don't want you to use it next week.
I said it
petition
explicitly.
to change the name again.
A few times.
Change that name from BBC.
So the BBC of this week is going to be the Titans, Ravens.
You're in the middle.
And the Ravens are the Titans are getting 6.5 points. And I say that the Titans will win this game outright. So
you said 3.5.
No, I didn't say 3.5. You are drunk.
But I figured I'd give a little.
You're drunk or bad at math.
All right. I think drunk and all, we're going to kind of exit our show. Tell us how they can get a hold of us. They can find us.
Hey, guys, you can find us at
we are
any
TikTok
of our
famous.
We did become TikTok famous. So make sure you follow us on TikTok. But if you can't find us there, you can find us on Instagram, Ultimate Fantasy Locker Room. Find us on YouTube, Ultimate Fantasy Locker Room, 2 R's. Is that correct?
Yes.
Bam.
We also want you to go to our YouTube channel and go to our website. Leave us reviews. Tell us topics.
Comments. Ask questions. We're here to answer them. And thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah. And TikTok.
Good luck, guys.
TikTok. You know what I'm saying?
When I sin, I fall straight to my knees. Yeah, it's like we holding on to what he's hating. Lacking luster from the father, cause there's no relation. I'm told to tell you about him, word from God is not mistaken. That's why his name is always dropped in every conversation. I've been sold to his will hold, for falling short of